MVL's white, and they play a very exciting French defense. Okay, they play the advanced variation. And in this position, white plays a move that I don't like for either side. I don't like this line. I don't like even looking at it. It blocks the whole game up, and I'm totally baffled. Okay, when I'm white in this position, I play bishop d3. Blundering a pawn, I understand. But MVL played a3, and this lets black play c4, which is explosive. Okay, and this is the most boring line ever. They move around and around and around, and I don't understand what's going on. But then it got exciting, and the mood all changed. So, all right, I don't like to have either side of this position. So when I'm black in this position, I don't play c4. c4 is the best move, but I don't play it. Okay, and then black blocks up the queen side, so white plays on the king side, and black figures his king is safe on the queen side because it's totally blocked. Okay, and then nothing ever happens. It's just boring and I'm confused. Okay, so nothing happens. No pieces are ever traded, ever. Nothing ever happens. Okay, the game never ends. Oh, sorry, I was asleep there for a second. Okay, so now we're on move 23. It's white's 23rd move, and nobody's traded anything. And white's pushing on the king side with his king there, and black's pushing on the queen side with his king there, confusing the audience. Okay, now they opened it up on both sides of the board. Traded on g6, weakening the e6 pawn, and then he attacked it. And then black played the very unusual move, queen h7, which the engine says is correct. I thought it would be incorrect. Okay, now the idea is crazy. I'm too old for this idea. Now let me show you the idea. After queen e6, the obvious move, black wants to play bishop d7 with a skewer. But bishop d7 is illegal, so we play the clearance sacrifice, knight takes d4. Okay, and then after c takes d4, then we play bishop d7. The Zwischenzug queen d6 check doesn't win for white because of bishop c7. Okay, and the engine says black is better, although I'm totally baffled. But that was the point of queen h7, was queen takes e6, may not be the best move. Okay, now here, MVL played a crazy move. He wants to open up black's king, and black stopped b3, so he played b3 anyway. Now the obvious idea is if you take with the bishop, all that stuff I just showed you, bishop d7, that's not going to happen because the bishop can't go to d7 anymore. Now the engine does play bishop takes b3. It's the engine move. But you can see why he didn't, because he can't play bishop d7 in that line. So he took with the pawn. Okay, now everything that I said that would happen did happen. And the difference is white already played b3, so he can get an attack on the king. And now he shocked the world by playing an unsound sacrifice instead of just playing the boring queen check, queen b4. And then the engine says it's equal. He sacrificed his queen. Don't do this at home unless you're playing me. Then you can do it. Okay? And the engine says white doesn't have enough compensation, but that's if two computers are playing. If humans are playing, this pawn is hanging, this bishop's pretty good, he's going to double up on the bubble up, he's got this massive pawn chain here, these pieces are no good. But if two engines are playing, the engine says I'm up a queen. I defend for 5 moves and I win. This is a rapid game. Both players have no time on the clock, and it's hard to play black. White just goes forward like this, and black's like, I don't know. What do I do? And even the engine doesn't know what to do. The engine says lots of moves are good. Rapport plays the number 1 move, knight b6, blocking the b file. And the engine says black's winning, and that's why this game is such a nice game, because white won and didn't make it look too hard, even though the engine likes black. And the players don't care what the engine says. They want a position that's easier to play with more time. Okay, and he played a4, trying to open up the black king. Okay, reasonable. And Knight takes a4 is a good move. Knight takes d5 is a good move. And g5 is a good move. All these moves are good. f5 is a good move. g4 is a good move. But these are all the engine moves. The players play perfect. Knight b6 is the engine move. Yeah. Okay, he played knight e3, which is not the engine move. Not considered very good. And now, again, white's down a queen, and the game is very messy and confusing. But of course, the engine says I'm up a queen. Okay, but the engine's not in time trouble, and humans don't see a million moves a second, so the position is just crazy. Okay, h5 is reasonable. Black's trying to checkmate white. f6 is reasonable. Tic-tac-toe. h4 is very reasonable. And now the attack's coming on the h-file, so MVL plays king g1, which is actually the engine move. It's pretty funny. This gives the h1 square for the bishop and gets off this file. Bishop c7's okay. Rook c1's okay. These are queen d7's okay. All these moves are fine. Okay, rook d1 is a little passive, but all right. So this is pretty good compensation. Okay, so for the first time since MVL sacrificed his queen, Rapport made a move the engine doesn't like. Okay, one of the engine moves is to push the a-pawn, giving him luft and getting a passed pawn going. The other one is rook h6, I assume to double up on the bubble up. And rook g6 is another engine move. Obviously, we could double the same way. Instead, he broke the tension. H takes g3. The engine doesn't like that. And then he played super aggressive. He's like, I'm up a queen. I can give some material away and still win. The engine does not agree. Plays rook h3. So it's funny, the bad moves sort of come consecutively. And Rapport was right. After bishop takes g takes, black has a nice initiative, but MVL just played knight f1, defending his bishop, and now this is rock solid. Black can't crash through there, but white's going to crash through on the c file, the b file, and his 3 connected passed pawns. So white's ready to crash through, and black's hg rook h3 didn't get it done. So now, even though black is up a queen, the engine says it's equal. When you're up a queen and the engine says it's equal, that means you're going to lose. Okay? When you're up a queen, you should be up a lot. Right, Karen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to come back in a few minutes.
Karen says she'll be back. Might bring Schwarzenegger with her. Okay, so he played rook h5, which is not a good move because the rook is nothing. He got nothing. The rook on h5 does nothing, just losing a tempo. Rook c3, the best move. Now MVL wants to do some stuff over here. He's got some stuff and some junk. Yeah, rook h5 didn't cut it. Rook c8, probably the best move. Rook c1, I got 2 rooks, 1 for each of you. Yeah, this attack is too strong now. And now black's losing, and he didn't put up a good defense. The engine actually plays knight a8, defending the bishop. That's pretty funny. And then after d5, it says white's winning. But he played queen takes d4, which loses very quickly, and MVL found the easily winning move, which I've already explained. Rook takes c7, rook takes c7, and e6. And yeah, the pawns are queening, the rook is going to be captured, and white's 4 pieces easily defend his king. And the engine actually says, even though MVL's down a queen, he's +8, because he's got everything going on. Touch, timing, everything. Once again, knight a8 is the best move, but after e7, white's going to win. White's got all these pawns, knight d5's coming, this is pinned, etc. Okay, he played rook c5, trading rooks. And then e7, man, the truth hurts. Man, you got 2 pawns over here. Now, there's just no defense to e8. Okay, he played queen h5, the best move, to stop both pawns. Now, remember, it's not knight f5. It's knight f5. And you can't take the knight because I queen. Okay, and now the knight's coming in here. Now, the engine says this move is a blunder, knight f5. It says that's terrible. He should have played knight d5. And the reason is, after the trade, now these pawns are unstoppable. And now white's winning. But he blundered because they were in terrible time trouble, and one good blunder deserves another. Okay, the only move to not lose is knight d7 with the idea of knight takes f6. So knight f5 was the only bad move MVL played after the queen sack, but since it's knight f5, he won anyway. He knows what he's doing. And now the blunder came knight c8, obviously with seconds on his clock. And surprisingly, white made the best move here, knight 1 to e3, defending his knight and getting his other knight ready for d5. Man, the truth hurts. And here comes knight d5, bishop takes c7 check, and he resigned. Obviously, if king a8, I queen. And then I'm up 2 pieces. So a fantastic rapid game, which wasn't necessarily sound, but that's not what we're going for here. We're going for complexity, winning a lot of games, making your opponent defend with no time on their clock, and that's something MVL is good at.